The numbers don't lie, and they spell either Raw or SmackDown for you after WrestleMania. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. We're here to talk about Bron Breakker. Even if you're not a fan of Bron Breakker, you've got to like him for the fact that his uncle is the legendary Scott Steiner. In my opinion, that gets Bron Breakker above a lot of other people on the roster. That puts him top tier for the fact that we know Uncle Scott could literally come out and drop the greatest promo of all time. That is a reason to love me some Bron Breakker. But it is being rumoured that Bron Breakker will not be on NXT after WrestleMania and that he will be getting called up to the main roster. Now, it's still to be decided whether he goes to Raw or whether he goes to SmackDown. Personally, with the brand split now, I don't think it's such a big deal. Back in the day, it felt huge. It felt like it was really important whether he went to Raw or SmackDown. Honestly, now with the brand split, it's kind of loose. You get people showing up on Raw that are on SmackDown. You get people showing up on SmackDown that are on Raw. So for me, I don't think the brand is really as important as it used to be. I personally think, though, that Bron Breakker will show up on Raw if he is obviously promoted to the main shows after WrestleMania. But Twitter account at WKRDW Wrestling noted that NXT champion Bron Breakker and Cameron Grimes are slated to be main roster mainstays within the next few months. Now, this Twitter account seems to be getting a lot right. Now, I'm not too sure who's the owner of it. I'm not sure who's tweeting it, but they've been saying a lot of things over the past 6 months, and they seem to be getting a lot of stuff right. And I think it is very possible that Bron Breakker could get called up. Now, Cameron Grimes, I'm not too interested in Cameron Grimes. If they call Cameron Grimes up, then so be it. I'm not a fan of Cameron Grimes, but I do think Bron Breakker has got serious potential. And I do think he will be called up, because let's be honest, he's had this year title reign. Even his title reign kind of started before last year's Stand and Deliver, albeit he momentarily lost it to Ziggler. But this guy's basically been involved with the NXT title now. Even before that, even before he won it for the first time, he was always competing for it. So for the better half of a year and a half, this guy has been constantly in the NXT title picture. Once he drops it, I don't think there's anywhere for Bron Breakker to go on NXT, and I don't see why they would continuously have him keep it, because NXT is a development brand. It's all about trying to develop the stars of tomorrow, and I think they've already developed Bron Breakker. You know, he's had over a year-long title reign. I think it's now time that Bron Breakker drops the belt and moves on to the main show. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean he has to lose at Stand and Deliver, because we've seen last year he went into Stand and Deliver as a challenger and he lost to Dolph Ziggler just to win the belt the next night on Monday Night Raw. So this doesn't mean that he has to lose to Carmelo Hayes. He could beat Carmelo Hayes, then maybe lose to him a week later. Or who knows, maybe he could win against Carmelo Hayes and then lose to somebody else. We don't know. But I do think Bron Breakker will move up to the main roster, and I think it's about time. And honestly, man, I think Bron Breakker, assuming that Cody Rhodes, I think Cody Rhodes will beat Roman Reigns, but Bron Breakker's the only guy left that could really do anything in terms of who could realistically beat Roman Reigns. Bron Breakker might be the only guy. Now, I don't think they're going to just push him onto the main roster and have him beat Roman Reigns straight away. I don't think they'll do that, but holy shit, if they wanted to make an impact, if they wanted to, make a statement, could you imagine if Bron Breakker comes out the night after WrestleMania and challenges Roman Reigns and won the titles? Holy crap, could you imagine how much that would elevate him? What a shock that would be. I mean, possibly the biggest shock in wrestling. I know we've seen upsets, but I mean, for Bron Breakker just to come in on his debut on the main show and win the belts, I don't think it'll happen, but it's a possibility. So I think there's a lot they can do with Bron Breakker. I think they should call him up. As for Cameron Grimes, I don't really care, but yeah, Bron Breakker, he's done his time in NXT. He's been champ now, combined, he's had a combined run for well over a year, so he's done it, he's been there. It's time to move him up, and let's be honest, if he goes to Raw or SmackDown, I'd put him in the main event straight away. I don't think they will. They'll probably have him, first year maybe be a mid-card guy and go after either the US or Intercontinental title, but for me, Bron Breakker, a lot of potential, and I think he should be in the main title picture and in the main event. So anyway, guys, that's my opinion. Currently, Carmelo Hayes is a favourite to beat. With the bookies, he's the favourite to beat Bron Breakker at Stand and Deliver, but it is marginal, so there's not a lot in it. Plus, Bron Breakker recently filmed a Snickers commercial with AJ Styles that aired on Raw this week. So again, the fact that he was on a Snickers commercial that aired on the main show, maybe that's a sign. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. Is Bron Breakker going to appear on the main roster? And if he is, where would you rather see him? Would you rather see him on the blue brand, or would you rather see him on the red brand? For me, Raw's 3 hours. I think Raw could do him more, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, it'd be a good addition to either Raw or SmackDown. Anyway, guys, that's it. Leave your comments, leave your likes. Let us know what you think down below. And until next time, peace.